Well, I think we need to think, first of all, of truth claims in general. And what I'm going to say applies not only to religion, but science and everyday life. I suppose we think of objective and subjective as two ends of a spectrum. Objective means person independent, being unbiased, impartial, and uninfluenced, and not letting any emotions or personal opinions come into the picture while we're making decisions or evaluations. Subjective is the opposite, person dependent. Now, it used to be thought that the natural sciences were completely objective and impartial, but philosophers of science have long since shown that science is a human activity, and all scientists bring to their work a degree of unavoidable subjectivity. Now we come to the truth question, and we meet all kinds of views. There's, first of all, what is often called conventionalism. All meaning is relative. But of course, the statement that all meaning is relative refutes itself, because it itself must have relative meaning, so we can discard it. And I find it's very easy actually to see that everyone believes in objective truth at some level. If you're accused of a crime that you didn't commit and you appear in court, and the prosecution case is very clever, suppose the judge says there's no such thing as objective truth. So what he's going to do is to judge the case on the basis of his own prejudices. And he likes the prosecution arguments, he doesn't like yours, and so he declares you guilty. I think you would react with outrage, and you'd protest strongly in the name of truth and objective fairness. You believe in truth. Now, when we think of truth, there are various important theories of truth. First of all, there's the correspondence theory. Water is a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. The truth of this statement is not found by examining the statement, but has to do with a past fact that's outside the statement to which the statement corresponds. And then a necessary condition for truth is coherence. An incoherent statement is false. So when we come to the question you ask of verification, then we need to ask ourselves what proof is. Now, I'm a pure mathematician, and that's the only subject where you get rigorous proof. In pure mathematics, for example, axiomatic geometry. But in science in general and in everyday life, you do not get that absolute sense of proof.
Absolutely.
You get pointers, you get evidence, but you cannot have 100% proof. And that means, and it's important to say this, although nothing is absolutely certain, there are many things that are certain enough so that you risk your life on them. And that's important when we come to think of Christian truth. You see, I cannot be absolutely certain that a surgeon is going to save my life, but I have enough evidence to trust him or her to do the operation. Similarly with flying across the Atlantic. I can't prove mathematically that the plane will get me there, but I have enough evidence to think it can get us there. So summing that up, there is truth, and we all believe there is truth. A friend of mine once said, people are only postmodern and relative in areas that they think are not important, like areas of value. But I think even in the areas of value, I have never met anybody who thinks it's right to torture infants. So we believe in an absolute moral value there. So I think this gives us a start. There is truth, we can know it, but never absolutely certainly, but certain enough to rely on it.